Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 4-game NBA slates we have here on DraftKings for Saturday night. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can hit that like button and subscribe, that'd be huge. I'll be talking through my favorite spin-up plays, some mid-range options we can look at, and some value plays for this 4-game slate tomorrow. Be sure to check out my Patreon that's linked down below. It's 100% free. I go a little bit more in-depth on my picks, plays, all that good stuff. So yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the slate breakdown. Before we get into the slate breakdown, just want to say follow me on Twitter, HartDFS, answer any questions you guys have. Talk NFL DFS, NBA DFS. I'll have NFL write-up and video out tomorrow as well, so make sure to check that out for Sunday. And I'll also have my NBA cheat sheet out. Once again, you can click on my Twitter link, the link tree. You can click it on my pinned tweet or down in the YouTube description below. But I go over, a recap of the day before, get you guys in that, kind of get you in the right framework, the right mindset to start building your lineups, thinking about, which plays are good, which plays are bad, some values, all that good stuff. That's kind of the goal of these Patreon, cheat sheets, is to help, set that framework, that mindset for the GPP of that day. And for this part, it's in the NBA. So, talk about the top pay options, other guys have interest in and why. Some guys I feel are too cheap, or they're on a cold streak, not shooting the ball well, and you can buy low on them or buy high on guys who have been, going off the past few games. Building blocks and value plays. So all that good stuff is there. Make sure to check that out. And yeah, let's get into the slate breakdown. 4 games. Just want to say, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I don't tote a lot, but Pascal Siakam really 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the game. Picks up the 4th one 2 minutes into the second quarter. Misses the entire second quarter. Picks up the 3rd one with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. And cherry on top, 20-point blowout the whole game. Yeah. It makes me so mad. I don't like tilting these videos, but I mean, a guy who never gets in foul trouble, he's going to pick up 3 in a smash spot. He's super low on 2. He's 9% in a very, very big contest right now for me. And he's going to tank my lineup just because of him. I have the Atlanta guys and Donovan Mitchell, and Pascal is going to be the reason my lineup tanks because of random massive foul trouble. It's just frustrating. But yeah, let's get into the slate breakdown. That's why I'm recording this early, because it really made me want to turn off my laptop and throw it out the window. But we have Orlando and Toronto. On the Orlando side, I'm going to see if any guys, finish up with some restrictions or injuries, because they are playing tonight. But we know the offense is going to kind of flow through Paolo, but now they do have a good amount of people back. So it's not a lot of interest in this Orlando side. Paolo's priced up to an okay price point. Wendell is still out. He'll be back in like another week or so. Bol just kind of there. Once again, still kind of priced up with everyone being out the past 2 weeks. Suggs might be back for tomorrow. We'll have to see if he's back. Just adds another player into the minutes at an already crowded crowded backcourt between him, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz. So with all those guys, most likely back, there's just not a lot of interest. I guess you could, the favorite play for me besides Paolo would be Franz at 6,400. He does have some upside, but with everyone back, they're all young. They're all going to want to get to theirs. The only real interest I would have is Paolo. Otherwise, there's just not a lot of interest on this team. Mo Wagner, I think, got the start tonight. He was doing well, but huge foul trouble for him. So, yeah, just not a ton of interest on Orlando unless we get some news that kind of, makes it otherwise. On the Toronto side, look who we get. My boy Pascal, who just got massive random foul trouble tonight against Brooklyn. He was low owned. That foul trouble, and people will see that box score, will keep him low owned again. Obviously, a great matchup here against Orlando, so I do really like going back to him. The other 2 wings, OG, Scotty, they're just kind of there for me, just kind of contrarian plays. Wouldn't say they have the best price points. Fred VanVleet would be the second favorite play for me, more of a secondary play behind Pascal. He does have some upside. Once again, he's not shooting well this season at all. He's not shooting well again tonight, but that should keep his ownership low. He does have 40 plus, 50 plus upside if he's hitting the shots, and he can get a good amount of assists as well. So 2 of my favorite plays. The rest of the team are just kind of secondary plays. You can always take that dart throw of Boucher off the bench, but with Pascal back, don't feel great about that. Thad Young getting some minutes. Hernan Gomez has been getting some minutes, but just more to kind of spell any foul trouble or guys just doing bad in the wings. So, I mean, you could look to him as a value play there. That's about it. It's not a ton of interest besides kind of the main guys. We know Nick Nurse is going to run those guys into the ground, give them as much minutes as they can. So it's really just Pascal for me and then Fred VanVleet. Moving on to OKC. Just going to be a frustrating team to break down. Not sure where my chair's falling down. Now we move on to OKC, 10-3 for SGA. I think it's a solid price tag. A little expensive, but we know what we're getting from him. He's been fantastic this year. We'll see if he plays. If he does, hopefully he plays. I do like him a good amount. It obviously lowers KD's usage. You know, he'd just be more of a secondary play there at that price tag. Lou Dort does have some upside, but 5,900, you're not getting him at the best price point. The rest of the team, you know, Williams, prices come up. He's okay, a play there. Poku, the minutes are just all over the place. It's just really hard to trust him. Same thing with the rest of the team. You know, JRE's been getting the most solid minutes, but not doing a lot. Trey Mann got more because of SGA being out. Yeah, it's just disgusting going to any of these value plays. Don't feel great about any of them. Hopefully SGA plays so we don't really have to get to any of the value plays. On the Minnesota side, Towns is out for a while. So we know Anthony Edwards is going to lead the team. Prices come up. You know, he did get 5 steals and 3 blocks, which really helped out his fantasy score. But, you know, he's solid at that category, averaging about, you know, a steal a game or more. He can get blocks as well. So, yeah, I do like him there at 8,600 still. You know, someone's going to have to score for this team and be the leader. It's going to be him. Rudy Gobert burned a lot of people there, 26 minutes, 12 fantasy points. I don't mind going back to him here, especially if the ownership's not going to follow him because they got burned last game. He does have some upside against, you know, pretty small front court on OKC. D'Lo, he's, you know, the second guy who's going to step up in terms of scoring. 6,800, got a double-double. You know, I think he's solid there at 6,800. And then moving on to the secondary pieces, you know, Jaden McDaniels does have some upside. You know, I could see some games where he has a good game shooting the ball, goes out there and gets you like mid-30s fantasy points. So 4,700, don't mind as a secondary piece. Kyle Anderson still makes for a good value play. You know, 39 minutes, did not shoot the ball well. Still almost got 30 fantasy points. So once again, 4,400, love that price tag for him. He should be super popular once again, but I think you can't really argue with that price tag of 4,400 for him when he's playing 39 minutes. That's just insane. Moving on to the rest of the team here. Noel is going to be that, you know, scorer off the bench. He played 31 minutes, coming off of 3 straight games, playing well, shooting the ball well. So I do like him a good amount here. You know, if he's going to see at least 25 minutes, if not more, you know, that price tag is way too cheap. So we saw at the beginning of the season, you know, he was doing very, very well and, you know, 25 minutes or less. Now those minutes should be secure because they're going to need his scoring off the bench, especially if, you know, D'Lo's not having a good game or Anthony Edwards is not having a good game. They're going to need to look to someone, and it's going to be Noel. So once again, I think you got to go back to the well here with, you know, chalky Noel and chalky Anderson, and then kind of get different from there. Naz Reid, you know, did see 22 minutes. He's a solid point per minute guy. Very foul prone. Got 5 blocks, which really helped out his fantasy score. But I don't mind going back to him here. You know, would hope to see some more minutes besides 22. Not the best there. But yeah, 3,600. He's another play there. Another nice value play. If McLaughlin is back, I could see him getting around 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, which could maybe eat a little bit into Noel's minutes. Excuse me. But I think Noel should be fine there in terms of minutes. Who else can we talk about? Rivers. It's kind of just take Rivers out of play. Bryn Forbes, not really in play, but yeah, that's really about it for the Minnesota side. Houston and Golden State. KPJ, Green, Sengun. I think Sengun looks the best to me at 6,200. You just really hope this game stays close. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors give up a ton of points. They don't play defense. But once again, you obviously have Steph and Clay on the other side and Wiggins, and they could just run these guys out of the gym. So yeah, it just, hopefully the game stays close. If it does, I think my favorite play would be Sengun there at that price tag, but we know Jalen Green, KPJ are going to lead the team and shoot the ball a ton. Smith, just more of a contrarian play there. You can get to some of the value guys if you want. I don't feel great about it. They're just more of dart throws there. And then on the Golden State side, Steph, 10-9, looks fantastic. We know the Warriors or the Rockets are the best team to target in the league because they don't play any defense and they're terrible. But once again, obviously that leads to blowout risk. So it's a little bit risky to get to Steph, especially that price tag. But I do like him a good amount. Obviously, the highest price spend up on the slate. Wiggins, I think, looks fantastic, 6,500. A lot of people don't play him just because he's kind of floating there in that mid 6K range. Doesn't look great, but he can have some upside into the 40+ range. Green, Thompson, Poole, all just kind of the secondary tournament plays. I think my favorite would be Klay Thompson just because how he can get hot from three and absolutely go off. Looney, 4,300 looks like okay value play. You could dip down to a guy like DiVincenzo if you want, but you don't feel great about it. Maybe you could take a shot on a guy like Lamb or Kuminga if the game, maybe it blows out for you and they do well, but it's hard to kind of hope for a blowout. Usually when that happens, you always get the opposite when it stays close. So yeah, don't feel great about the value right now. Obviously it's pretty early, so what to see if any opens up. On the Portland side, Simons looks fantastic here. Going to be very chalky, but he's just playing an insane amount of minutes. As you can see, 47, 38, 47, 40, 43, 39. I mean, he's shooting the ball 20+ times a game. Love him here at 8,300. Price hasn't moved. Got to lock him in. Grant, 7,700. He's been fantastic. I don't mind if you want to ride the hot streak. He's a little scoring dependent, as you can see. He's been solid with the peripheral stats, but I mean, he's shooting the ball 20+ times as well. So if you're going to get that from him, he's a little bit too cheap there with that price point. I feel safer going to Simons. But yeah, Grant has been fantastic. Nurkic has actually been doing well recently, which is surprising because I played him when he first came back and he was doing nothing and was not getting the minutes. But now, yeah, he's getting about 34-ish minutes. So going against Utah, I do really like that price tag there for him and that matchup. If Josh Hart is back, you can go to him as kind of a contrarian play out of the whole starting five, but don't love that. Winslow's price tag has come up. He's still seeing a ton of minutes, so I don't mind him there at 5,200. Still seems a little bit cheap, even though he's not the best shooter. Watford should see some backup minutes. Don't expect 31. They did limit some of Nurkic's minutes. I don't know if it's because of foul trouble or if he wasn't doing well. He is kind of bad defending at times, so Watford got a little bit more on. But, he makes for an okay value play. Sharp is fringe value play, playable. Eubanks is questionable. If he's in, he's a decent value play. If he's out, obviously it opens up more minutes for a guy like Watford. You could see them dust off like Greg Brown, or not even sure how you say this guy's name. That can't be a real name there. But yeah, Greg Brown would maybe figure to see like 15-ish minutes. And then moving on to Utah. Laurie at 8K, I think he looks great here. They're playing a ton of minutes to these starters now. 37, 36, 38, 36. So at that price tag, not the best price tag, but with those amount of minutes, do think he looks really good. Same thing with Clarkson, just playing a mass amount of minutes. I think I prefer Clarkson's upside a little bit more, even though he's slightly more score independent. But yeah, do like both of them. As I think it's a great game to stack. I'm assuming the game total will be pretty high on these two. Olynyk, I think he looks solid at 5,900 with how many minutes he plays. It'll be interesting to see how many minutes they play tonight and if that affects ownership for tomorrow. But yeah, all these guys on the Utah side do seem a little bit too cheap for how many minutes they're playing. Favorite play would probably be Sexton at 5,700 and Beasley at 5,400. But yeah, I do like the starting five a good amount. And then in terms of value, Vanderbilt, not really value. He's just kind of there. Huge drop off. Walker Kessler should see 15-ish minutes. Not a bad point per minute guy, so 3,200. I don't mind that. Horton Tucker should see about 15 minutes around there. He's not a bad point per minute guy. I mean, they're not really getting any minutes because they're just running their starters into the ground, kind of like Toronto does. So yeah, I do like them a good amount. And yeah, that's going to be the video. Once again, stay tuned for my Patreon write-up for this slate tomorrow, my NFL write-up and my NFL video. We'll throw one more player into this pool right now. But yeah, really think you want to run it back with the chalk on Minnesota with Anderson and Noel. I really like Simons, and let's figure out one more guy to throw in there. I think it's going to be Sengun, 6,200. I do think that's a little bit too cheap. We know he has massive upside. It's, kind of every 10 or so games, but, he does easily have the enough upside to pay off 6,200, even in a game that, could potentially blow out. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.